I called the old Bill earlier because I was going to take the law into my own hands. Yeah, serious consequences for me if I do. That would mean life imprisonment for me with my diagnosis. That's what this is all about, you see. They don't police for me. People keep harassing me, left, right and centre wherever I go, and the old Bill do fuck all about it. I've said this before. This is high level corruption. It's a high level cover up in child abuse, is what it is. It's not like I ain't made that plain to people. I've had a geezer hanging around all day, focused only on me, following me around everywhere, sitting around on the benches outside the Tavistock for hours and hours and hours. He turned up this morning, came over to me, wanting my help, making out he's some sort of victim for something. Very strange behaviour. So I tried to help him earlier in the day. He wanted a hospital. Tried to get him to an hospital. Offered to put him in a taxi to take him to the hospital. Didn't want it. Says he's lost this evening, tonight. Saying you need to go home and have a good sleep. Drink a lot of water. He'd been partying all night, he told me. Last night. He's been hanging around outside my tent all fucking day. Following me everywhere. Followed me into town earlier. I went to my tent earlier. I'm very tired. You know, I got a threat from an ITV journalist last night about sending people down at 4 o'clock in the morning. People make threats to me like that, I'll take them seriously. Because of what I'm saying. You know, people like Brian Harvey threatening to stab me in the neck. All the harassment I get. Said it before. Police don't police me. I'm gonna, at some point in time, I will end up taking the law into my own hands. What should worry people is that if I was a woman suffering this, having a man follow me around all day, being fucking weird, asking for help and then refusing the help when it's offered, focusing on me like some weirdo fucking stalker, you'd expect the police to act. The thing about me is I don't differentiate between the sexes. I think of us as all being equal, you see. So I think a man in a similar situation should get the same police service. So if they're not giving it to men, then they're not also giving it to women, I would imagine. I should man up about it, shouldn't I? I should have given him a slap, probably. Is that the kind of world we want to live in? We've got a police service. They're supposed to uphold the law and honour their oath. I don't fucking do it. Not for me, anyway. I've said it a million times. I will take the law into my own hands. If I feel threatened, I'm going to take the law into my own hands. That'll prove their diagnosis right, won't it? There's only so much provocation somebody can fucking take before they do something and take the law into their own hands. You know, abusive relationships. I remember a little while ago a woman stabbed her husband up. She said he was abusing her for decades. She snapped. Of course, this is a high level cover up in child abuse because of what I've said, you see. Another weird event today. I had a chap come down, walked into the camp, which is unusual because most people stay on the other side of the wall. He asked me what it was about, so I told him. He said, oh, he's just come out of Her Majesty's Prison Grendon. Told me he heard some horrific stories in there. I know, I've heard them myself. Men who've had terribly abusive childhoods, who've gone on to commit very, very serious crimes. He told me he was an armed robber and he'd just done life. I was just about to tell him that actually, mate, you can't associate with me because you're on a life licence and you're not allowed to associate with criminals because you can breach your licence like that and they can swag you off back to jail. And he suddenly went to me, oh, my customer's here. And he went over to speak to some geezer in the car park. I got some stuff out of the car, put it in another car. And then the geezer, who was his customer, went into the Tavistock Centre. Didn't see him come out again. And the other fella drove off. How's that for a coincidence? Then I had some geezer take my picture earlier today. He's put it on his Facebook page. Doxed me. All in one fucking day. How about that? I wish my defence analyst had come down. Give me some tips. Anyway, I called the old Bill because I got very close to taking the law into my own hands, you see. I don't really want to have to do that. But I feel like I'm being forced to do that. It's what they want, really. I've said it before. They want me to do something to make their diagnosis right. Harass somebody and harass somebody and harass somebody, and sooner or later they'll do something. And the old Bill, in that instance, will jump all over it. Corrupt cunts, you see, covering up child abuse. Anyway, it's also another way to get rid of me from here, isn't it? Make me feel frightened in my tent. They're so fucking predictable with it all. They need some new fucking tricks because they've been using the same fucking tricks for I don't know how long. And quite frankly, I'm bored with them. I wish they'd come up with something fucking new to create fear and paranoia in a human being by constantly harassing and threatening them and not doing anything about it. What could possibly go wrong? Don't know. Jake Davison's dead. We can't ask him, can we? That shot there reminds me of the Exorcist. Of course, we are in Satan country, aren't we? Apparently, according to some people. Hampstead's full of Satanists. Anyway, I'm going to have this beer, get back in my tent. Send that geezer down and see what happens. Send him down again and see what happens.